That's where we find Newsmax TV political analyst and presidential strategist Dick Morris. Dick, it's good to have you tonight via telephone. Your take on what is happening this evening in these 5 northeastern states.
Thanks, Jiggy. I think the key question is, of course, by what margin Trump wins. Trump has a very narrow window to get this nomination on the first ballot. He has basically to win pretty much everything in each of these states, and it's going to be hard to do. In Pennsylvania, he'll probably have enough of a margin, especially given tonight's victory call for him, to win the 17 at-large delegates. In Maryland, there are 38 delegates, and he has to win them all. And he may not be able to do that in each congressional district. Connecticut, exactly the same. Delaware, winner-take-all, he'll probably get those. Rhode Island is straight proportional, and he's going to lose a few of those. He can only afford a few. Now, Pennsylvania is sort of a non-primary because there are 54 delegates chosen by congressional district. And those delegates run for office just like they're running for Congress or Senate. There's no indication of who they would support for president. They're just on the ballot, and you have to vote for whoever you want. And Cruz has gone out of his way to make sure that really popular local people are on the ballot, you know, like mayors and state legislators and stuff like that, who are likely to win based on name recognition. And they go to the convention without being bound to anybody. And that 54 delegates will be a kind of loose cannon at the convention and could be critically important in determining whether Trump gets the first ballot nomination or not. Cruz really doesn't have to win anything until Indiana, a week from tonight. And that he has to win, or it really is go home.
Let me ask you something about these projections, especially in Pennsylvania. As I mentioned earlier, Dick, and you just went through the process in Pennsylvania, it has been called by more than one political analyst quirky, perhaps others would say time-honored, or just the way the folks in the Keystone State do it. But it does surprise me tonight on a couple of notes. First of all, it has been reported a change of voting patterns, a change of voting registration. In western Pennsylvania, prior to this primary, some 61,000 Democrats changing to the Republican Party. The articles indicate these were the old Reagan Democrats. Do they now become the Donald Democrats?
Yes, they do, and that's the tremendous attractiveness of the Trump candidacy. Overall, we'll have 33 million people voting in the primaries of 2016. If the current projections hold true, compared to 19 million in the primaries of 2012. So a 75% increase. And those are the Donald Democrats. They used to be the silent majority. Then they became the Reagan Democrats. And they were the blue-collar vote that stayed home because they didn't like Romney. And now they're the Donald Democrats. And the issue here is, will they stay with the party if Trump is not the nominee? And we just don't know that yet. But if Trump is the nominee, it'll be a very important element in his ability to win.
Dick Morris, in closing, something you are looking for tonight that your trained eye, it might not be apparent to the rest of us. Is there a surprise? Is there a kind of silent indicator tonight that you'll be looking for?
Yeah, what I'm going to be looking for is the Kasich vote as opposed to the Cruz vote, because that'll tell you whether this alliance is having any real impact. In some of the states, the final polling had Kasich ahead of Cruz. In Pennsylvania, it had Cruz ahead of Kasich. Delaware, I think Kasich was ahead. Rhode Island, I think Cruz was ahead. And I want to see if there is an amalgamation of those votes. Now, these 5 states were not among the ones enumerated in their deal. Their deal was focused only on Indiana, where basically Cruz was the candidate, and Oregon and New Mexico, where Kasich would be. But it'll be very interesting to see if there is a shift toward Cruz in this election, in their battle for second place. In terms of Trump's ability to win, he has to win 28 out of 28 in Connecticut. He has to win 19 out of 19 in Rhode Island, and he has to win 38 out of 38 in Maryland. And any shortfall from that is just that much further that he risks falling behind in his bid for a first ballot nomination.
All right, we will keep an eye on those indicators behind the story. And Dick Morris, we thank you very much for joining us tonight, leading off our analysis via telephone.